Here's why the idea of yin and yang is incompatible with Christian beliefs. Welcome to At the Fountain Ministries. I'm Ryan Sturgis. 1 John chapter 1 verse 5 through 6 says this. Now this is the message we heard from him and declare to you. God is light, and there is absolutely no darkness in him. If we say we have fellowship with him, yet walk in the darkness, we are lying and are not practicing the truth. What I want to do different today is highlight a few key terms that I think will help us understand exactly what this text is trying to say. Let's look at verse 5. In verse 5, we see the word light. It says, God is light. Now, this word for light can mean a torch, or is actually used sometimes to represent the people of God. Also in verse 5, we see a word darkness. It says, and there is absolutely no darkness in him. That word is literally translated to be the void of light, or it can represent evil people, specifically the evil world. And so we see from this verse that God is completely light and there is no substance, no part of this evil world that exists in him. Continuing on, verse 6, the word fellowship, where it says we have no fellowship with him, if this is the case, means to share or to have a willing contribution. Also in verse 6, again, we see the word darkness. Instead of meaning darkness or evil world, this time the translation for the word darkness actually means to become blind, is one of the translations. So now let's take a look at these passages, this time considering the terms that we just defined. This verse actually means that God is a torch for the believer. He illuminates the path of the believer. If you and I say that we possess this torch, yet we continue to stumble over the things that are illuminated by it, it's proof that we actually don't possess it. Evidence that you and I have come to know God is in our ability to recognize the things that trip us up and that fracture the relationship and prevent us from walking more closely with God.